Hi, we are here to share the service learning to you. First of all, this video is meant for learning purpose only and it does not mean for real industrial practicing. We are Group 6 from SKTB 4163 Section 1 and this is Service Learning Case Study 2. The scenario 1 for Case Study 2 is flushing steam line. Piping or pipe flushing is an operation in which a sufficient amount of fluid is pumped through a piping or pipeline section at a high enough velocity to force remove the construction debris, thus rust, melt scale, oil, grease, or any other contaminants. So there are some basic pipe flushing guidelines. First is detailed flushing plan should instruct about types, step, and duration of flushing. Second, pipe flushing should be done by using normal operation flow direction. Third, pipeline flushing should be preferably be done from the highest to lowest elevation. Fourth, the pipe flushing activity should be supervised and inspected by a commissioning engineer. And lastly, to avoid the corrosion potential, the system should be dewatered immediately after flushing and should make it dry. In our case, the steam pipeline is 100 meters long before it reaches the rotary dryer, and this pipeline requires flushing. So the compressed dry air is utilized for flushing activity, and we need to get the permission from client to use their dry air. Prior to supplying dry air into the new stainless steel pipeline, the steam pipeline is isolated from the rotary dryer, PRV, and pressure relief valve. Next, 5 bar of pressure is channeled into the pipeline and calibrate the pressure gauge is installed. The pipe is purged several times until no visible foreign item can sink, and lastly, the pressure test is performed after flushing.
Hi, my name is Kirsty and I would like to talk about high rate. And what is high rate? Actually, it is a compound word which made out of 3 consecutive activities running one after the one. And the activity consists of hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control. And hazard identification is the recognizing of things which may cause injury or harm to a person. And risk assessment is the process of determining the likelihood of a person being injured or harming themselves if they are exposed to a hazard. And risk control is defined as the implementation of measures that remove or reduce the risk of a person being exposed to a hazard. Next, these are the tables to analyze and estimate the risk. Risk is the combination of the likelihood and severity of a specific hazardous event occurring. To decide if risk is tolerable and what action to take, we can use these tables and this equation: likelihood times severity equals risk. Now, let us move to the high rate one. The first work activity is to separate the pipe from the rotary dryer. And the hazard is falling material or heavy object that may result injury or accident to nearby workers. And to control the risk, the barricades were set out to keep the people out of the work area. And the likelihood of the hazard is 3, and the severity is 4, so the risk is equal to 12, which is classified as a medium risk. And the recommended control measure should be taken is all the workers should wear a safety helmet and other PPE while working near the region. And the second work activity is to open the steam piping system. And the hazard is the workers at the pipings end may sustain an injury. This hazard may cause a temporary hearing loss as well as eyes injury. In order to control the risk, the barricades must be erected in the work area, and the activity signs must be posted, and the clients must be alert. And this hazard has a likelihood of 2 and a severity of 3, then 2 times 3. So the risk is equal to 6, which is classified as a medium risk. And the recommended control measure is the workers should follow the standard of operation when using compressed dry air. Next, the third work activity is to insert compressed dry air into the pipe, and the bolts and the nuts on the pipe may loosen as a result of very high pressure. And this hazard can result in a minor injury to a nearby worker, such as slight cut. And existing risk control is barricade the area, and in this case, the likelihood is 3 and the severity is 2, resulting in a risk of 6, which is considered medium risk. And a suggested control measure is the flushing process should be overseen. And the fourth work activity is to use a pump to remove the debris. And the hazard is the accumulation of waste and alien items, which can lead to a defect in the operation and inefficiency. When flushing, make sure the supply pressure stay at 5 bar to control the risk. Because the likelihood is 2 and the severity is 5, the risk is 10, which is medium risk. And the recommended control measure is to stay away from the work area and consult with the clients.
The fifth work activity is housekeeping, where it involves a release of foreign objects or solid waste. And this hazard may cause our worker to get a minor injury such as skin and eye irritation. The existing risk control is to wear the proper PPE such as gloves, boots, and goggles. The likelihood of this hazard is 4, the severity is 2, so the risk is 8 and it is considered as medium. The recommendation control measure is to supervise the process to ensure that all workers handle all foreign items and waste carefully until they are properly disposed of. So the last work activity is also housekeeping, but the hazard involves a sharp or long tool remain on a work site. So this may also cause our worker to get a minor injury such as cut. The existing risk control is to wear the proper PPE such as gloves, boots, and goggles. The likelihood is 2, the severity is 1, and the risk is 2, and it is considered as low risk. The recommended control measure is to cover any sharp or long tool with canvas before transporting them. As a conclusion, the work activity of separate the pipe from the rotary dryer obtain the highest risk, which is 12, followed by remove debris by means of a pump, which is 10, and followed by the third highest risk, which is housekeeping, obtain a risk of 8, and lastly, open the steam piping system and insert compressed dry air into the pipe, each obtains risk of 6. Overall, the risk level of flushing the pipe is medium. Before conducting an activity, HYRAC should always be carried out in order to evaluate the risk from hazard so that the practicable measures can be carried out to eliminate the risk. Lastly, why is HYRAC important? First, it identifies all factors that may risk worker to work and accidents during the steam line flushing project. Second, it helps consider the possibility of hazard that may occur under any circumstances and conditions. Third, it helps reduce companies' financial loss due to the accident. And lastly, it enables workers to plan, introduce, and monitor preventive measures against the risk of occupational injury. That's all from our groups. Thanks for watching. Bye!